Already did. Let's start doing my
Okay,
job.
we should be live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the February 10th, 2022 meeting of the Gloucester Zoning Board of Appeals. This is a remote Zoom meeting and consistent to Section 20, Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021. This meeting will be conducted by remote participation. The public may not physically attend this meeting, but every effort will be made to allow the public to view and listen to the meeting in real time. This meeting is recorded by video and audio in accordance with state open meeting law, consistent with the governor's orders suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. This meeting will be conducted by remote participation. Additionally, all votes taken by the Zoning Board of Appeals during this and future remote meetings will be by roll call vote. If you are calling in on a phone, you can press *9 to request to speak. If you are watching on a computer or device, there is a raised hand button that you can tap on or press to request to speak. Please use either of these options during communications to be recognized to speak. I'll introduce the members in attendance. My name is Joseph Parisi. I'm the chairman. We have Catherine Schlichte, vice chair, Michael Nyman, board member, and Adria Pratt, board member. So I do declare we have 4 present, and that is a quorum. For the record, this is Zoom meeting ID 869-7169-5196. And for the public's good, we have 2 hearings tonight that were continued that will be unable to hear due to a lack of quorum for those particular hearings. All the other hearings will go on. And those hearings are the petition of Sarah Trainer on 70 Thurston Point Road and the petition of Anna Galino on 21 Wells Street. And I'd ask if we could have a motion to continue both of those to March 10th, 2022.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we continue 70 Thurston Point Road, 70 Thurston Point and 21 Wells Street to March
10.
10th.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call vote.
Ms. Schlichte,
Yes.
Ms. Pratt,
Yes.
Mr. Nyman,
Yes.
Mr. Parisi.
Yes. So those are continued. One order of business before us, the approval of minutes from January 27th, 2022. Everyone received those. Are there any corrections or omissions? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Move we accept the minutes as written.
Second.
Made and seconded. Roll call on the minutes.
Ms. Pratt,
Yes.
Mr. Nyman,
Yes.
Ms. Schlichte,
Yes.
Mr. Parisi.
Yes, the minutes are accepted. Before we begin into our continued hearings, I want to take a minute at the beginning of the meeting while there's plenty of people in attendance to offer my sincere thank you and the thank you of the city of Gloucester to Adria Pratt. This will be her last meeting with the zoning board. And I just want to say she's been a great member for quite a number of years, I think 5. She's an attorney and she's been a big help to all of us. A little bit of legal guidance here and there and just a good sense of what's right and goes on in zoning. And I really appreciate it. She also was a real workhorse helping us write decisions for people that appeared pro se and didn't have representation, and we would write those things, and Adria was a big help. So thank you very much. I'm sure the other members can express themselves if they'd like.
Yes, Adrian, I'm
Yep.
so sorry you won't be reappointed. I will miss your expertise and your grace. You've been a pleasure to serve with.
Thank you guys very much. I greatly appreciate the comments. Thank you. It's been a pleasure serving with all of you, and I'll miss you.
Ditto for me. I'll miss whispering in your ear as we're talking about different hearings, hoping nobody can hear us. So anyway.
All righty,
Yeah.
great. Thank you, Adria. So let's begin with our continued hearing. from previous is the petition of NSD Real Estate LLC seeking a special permit 1.9 to alter and expand a non-conforming structure and variances for front yard, rear yard, and left side yard to allow additions, peak stairs at 169A East Main Street. I believe they're represented by Phil Dunn, if he can be brought in.
There it is. There you go. Come on.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
you turn on your video?
No, I'm going to put the video. Start video. There we go. There we go. Sorry about that. Hi, everybody. My name is Phil Dunn. I'm the project manager for NSD Real Estate regarding 169A East Main Street project. Just a little intro. 169A East Main Street is, as you know, existing non-conforming structure. NSD is from zoning standards of the mixed use and multifamily regulations. We are also requesting a special permit for the proposed roof dormers in order to expand the second floor into a functional 2-bedroom apartment. Am I able to share my screen? So I can.
Sure. Yep, you hit your share screen button.
There we go. Okay, at this point, I forwarded a letter from our architect to the building commissioner, Bill Sanford, just as a reference here from the last meeting. We did not have the correct regulations in our site plan. So as part of that, we redid the site plan, and in the letter, it clearly indicates what we're trying to do. So I'll just read it real quickly. As part of the renovations, we're proposing to remove a 1-story addition on the south property line and add dormers, an 8.5-foot addition and egress stair to the rear. These changes create no change in the front or north side setbacks, leaving them at the existing non-conforming 28 feet and 0 feet. With the removal of the 1-story structure, the south side setback remains unchanged at 0 feet, as one of the existing building corners still touches the property line. This does, however, provide some relief to the south side setback towards the rear that did not previously exist. The new lot line adjustment to the west or rear of the building changes the existing non-conforming rear setback of 23.5 feet to a conforming 45 feet. It also increases the lot area by 2797 square feet from 5437 to 8234 square feet. I can also show you. So the updated zoning table is here, and the zoning table is as Sager Architects described, 20 feet plus 1 feet for each additional foot over 15 feet. The front corner southeast is where we have the 0 setback. The small first floor bathroom is being removed from this area, and then the second floor proposed deck and the staircase here, we pushed that back to maximize the setback here, which would come out to just 7.1 feet. So we've done all we can to expand the setbacks here, and then the increased lot line adjustment gives us ample room for parking in the rear also. In summary, we believe we are doing everything possible to alleviate the existing setback shortcomings and dramatically improve a property, both aesthetically and functionally for ourselves, our neighborhood, and the city. you have any questions, do my best
I
to
guess-
answer.
Yep, so I just want to make sure we're all clear that the expansion of the lot hasn't happened yet, correct?
It has not yet, but a common ownership.
Well, they're listed as two different realty trusts.
Yes.
Um,
But there's common ownership between the two trusts. So that.
Well, okay, well, that's not our business anyway, but
No,
so any permitting we do will be subject to getting that lot change approved by the planning board. Just so that's clear to everyone, and then if that doesn't happen, then the permit wouldn't be valid. that
right.
we're in. Okay. Any questions, anybody?
Now,
Mr. Chairman, may I just
Yes,
for clarification, on the zoning chart that they are using, I cannot read it on his screen, so I just want to make sure. There was some issues in the beginning on that, so I just want to make sure we're using the right chart.
yeah, he's blowing it up now.
If you could slide it a little over to the left, be greatly appreciated, a little
Yeah,
bit more.
we got the,
We got pictures on the side. Oh, I can move my pictures.
I don't know how to move it over.
no, you can't anymore, but we can move our pictures out of the way. So
Sorry.
we can read it.
Okay, yes, it appears he is using the correct chart now. Thank you.
Okay, great. All righty, we're gonna go to public testimony if there's no other board questions at the moment. We'll give the public the opportunities. Anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor of the application, can you take your screen down, please?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
We need to be able to see something.
How do I do that now?
Just stop sharing, I think they do. There we go. Okay, so anyone in the audience that wish to speak in favor, and I remind you, if you're on a cell phone, you dial *9. Or if you're on a device or your computer, you just hit the raise hand key and we'll be able to see you. You pop right to the top when you raise your hand. Anyone in favor of the application? Seeing none, is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition to the application? Anyone in opposition, please raise your hand. I see none. There'll be no need for any rebuttal. Discussion by the board or motion?
well, I'm fine with the project as proposed, but the whole thing is contingent upon this additional almost 2,800 square feet being added to the existing lot. So, I mean, I understand that sometimes you have to go from one board to another board, and ultimately you're not going to get your building permit until you check all the boxes. So
Right.
as long as this additional 2,797 square feet is added to this lot, so you can get your parking and the stairs that come down a little bit into that lot, then I'm fine with that. I think it's a nice project. I think it's a good kind of renovation to the building to make it more usable and still provide parking and everything else. So that would be my only caveat. I mean, it is conditioned upon you getting that approval to combine those
Absolutely,
lots.
Anyone else? So we going for a motion?
I'll make a motion. And right, we've updated it to add the variances and whatnot.
Yep.
That money. On the petition of NSD Real Estate LLC, seeking a special permit to alter or expand a non-conforming structure, and variances for front yard, rear yard, and left side yard to allow the additions and the stairs at 169A East Main Street. I would move approval of the special permit. I think that the the change is not substantially more detrimental than the existing nonconformities. I mean, the buildings exist where they exist, and you're not really intensifying them too much. And approval of the variances, I think one of the hardships is where the building exists on the lot. You'd have to knock the whole thing down and move it, and you're kind of alleviating some of the encroachments as they exist. So I would move approval of both the special permit and the variances. I'd move approval.
Second,
Motion made and seconded on special permit and variances. We'll have a roll call vote.
May I amend
Sorry.
my motion? Obviously, it's conditioned upon them getting planning board approval to combine the two lots into one lot.
Yeah, and it'll
I
be,
second the condition. Yeah.
that site plan will be the stamped version from us, and any changes would have to come back to us.
Yeah.
Okay, motion made and seconded and amended. Roll call vote.
Mr. Nyman,
Yes on variances and yes on special permit.
Ms. Slickby,
Yes on the special permit, yes on the variances.
Ms. Pratt,
Yes, on all the relief requested. I think it's a good project. It's a nice way to revitalize the property a little bit.
Mr. Parisi.
I also vote yes. I'd ask that Mr. Sanborn would stamp and sign those drawings and plot plan on my behalf. You've heard our decision's favorable. You folks don't have the ability to write a draft decision, or that'll fall to us, I guess. Is that true?
Mr. Dunn, can you write a decision?
I can, if somebody advises me how I'm able to do that, certainly can do that.
Well, if you want to take a try at it, we can forward a template.
Sure, yeah.
And then we'll fix it. If you have somebody in legal there that, I mean, we're going to review it anyway and make the proper wording and changes that might be necessary, but it just speeds the process along.
Great,
If you
okay.
have time to try it. Okay,
Mhm.
thank you. Allison will be in touch with you with a template.
Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Allison,
next-
if you don't have a template, I have one I can forward you.
Yep. Our next hearing was continued, but it had never been heard. It was a requested continuance. The petition of Norman McFarland seeking a special permit under 2.3.1 subsection 6, 2-family to 3-family, to allow the construction of a garage with the dwelling above at 6 Spruce Road. I believe represented by Attorney Sheedy.
Good evening.
Hello. There you go.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Wilhelmina Sheedy. I'm an attorney at 76 Main Street in Rockport, representing the petitioner Norman M. McFarland regarding his petition to construct a garage with a dwelling unit above it and attach it to the existing structure and to convert the 2-family dwelling to a 3-family dwelling. This is pursuant to section 2.3.1 line 6 of the zoning ordinance and the factors set forth in section 1.8 for change of use. If I may share the screen, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, go to it.
Okay. Let's see. I don't see my desktop. Hang on. Oh, I think I have to go here. Hang on. Oop, oop, oop. Here we go. Are you able to see my screen?
Not
Yeah.
yet.
Sometimes it takes a minute.
Okay.
They have internet in Rockport, right?
Yes. Yes, they do.
Nothing coming. Give it another try.
Okay, not sure. I could see it on mine, but not on yours. Let me just try one more time. Oh, here.
There we go.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, so the petitioner, Spruce Road comes up on the right here. And the existing house faces Spruce Road here with an addition to the right. And this is a connected entryway to the two properties. This would be the proposed garage here, measuring 36 by 24 feet. Shown here from an aerial viewpoint. So the existing house with the connecting entryway, and this is the first floor for the garage, and then the second floor with the third unit. So the petitioner proposes to add an addition onto the existing two-family structure in the form of a three-car garage connected to the existing structure by an enclosed entryway. The subject lot is located in the R10 zone, which requires 10,000 square foot lot size with 2,000 square foot per dwelling unit. This oversized lot contains almost 3 times the required size with 27,043 square feet of land. And the existing structure is a two-family residential. There is 72.45 feet of frontage on Spruce Road, and where 65 feet is required. The existing structure meets all setback requirements and is conforming in all respects to the bylaw. The proposed two-story garage, as I said, measures 36 by 24 feet. It will be compliant with all the dimensional requirements of section 3.2 of the zoning ordinance, and it will not be higher than the existing building. These plans provide further detail as to the construction. A special permit pursuant to sections 1.8 and 2.3.1 line 6 should be issued to permit the 3 dwelling units, as the proposed use will be in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the ordinance. It will not adversely affect the neighborhood, the zoning district, or the city to such an extent as to outweigh the beneficial interests of effects of such use. Excuse me. This lot can easily accommodate a garage with an additional dwelling unit. The locus has ample on-site parking for at least 1 parking space per unit, as well as the 3 spaces in the garage. The utilities, including city water and sewer, currently servicing the locus are adequate to surface 3 dwelling units. A 3-family use fits in with the dense residential neighborhood in which the locus is located, and there will be no impact to the qualities of the natural environment, and the increased dwelling unit will bring increased tax revenue to the city of Gloucester. Therefore, the petitioner is asking this board to grant a special permit to construct the garage and add a residential unit to the property. And this is the existing house now. And the elevations here. Are there any questions?
Mina, there was a letter in support from the direct abutter.
Mm-hmm.
They had asked that they would, if they would add screening, some vegetation or whatnot. Is your client willing to add that vegetation in?
I'm sure they would be. Just which abutter was it?
It was, if you could take that,
Oh, sure.
I can't, I need to look at my documents on that, but there was a butter, and
The
there's.
butter is from 74 Cherry Street.
24
Okay,
Cherry Street.
yeah. And they said they're a direct abutter to the property, and maybe you didn't have the benefit of that letter, actually.
I haven't seen it, no.
Oh, yeah, they submitted a letter. I'll just tell you.
I don't think 74 Cherry is in the butter to this property.
They said they're direct abutters to 6 Spruce Road. They have no objection to the change of use, but since the new building is going to be so close to our property line, we'd like to ask if Mr. McFarland would plant some vegetation in the back of the building as a screen. And that is Donna Polizia at 74 Cherry Street.
Okay, she's up on the, yeah, I know the one you mean.
So it's vegetated screening to the back of the dwelling?
The back of the structure that's going to be constructed.
Okay.
So the way I'm trying to orient it.
It could actually be to the left, wouldn't it? The garage.
The back of the building, yeah.
Yeah, it would be to the left.
The left front corner is pointed toward Cherry Street, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so if you look at the assessor's map
Right.
that's in color that came in our packet,
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's the property right to the right bottom corner. That's 74 Cherry.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
Below us to the right, yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
and Bill, this connecting walkway is meeting our regulations?
Yes, I've talked to a representative for the owner and we discussed that. He had originally drawn it 9 feet. He has to make it 10 feet wide in order to comply.
Right, okay.
Mina, are there any other 3 families in that area at this point?
I don't know the answer to that. I do know that this is a rather oversized lot, being 3 times the size required. But I'm not,
That wasn't my, respectfully,
know.
that wasn't my question. Yes. Yeah, so I think my only concern, I'd be curious how many 2 families there are up there, actually. But I just, it's going to the language of the standard, just about the character of the neighborhoods, that's all. So I'm not a big fan of the connector, but I don't want to be the police for that kind of thing either. I would just be curious, a little bit more the character. I'm just a little surprised. I would be surprised if there's any other 3 families in that area, but I've been surprised before. Am I the only
Mr.
one
Donovan,
that has that concern?
I can't answer the question to 3 families, but I do know for a fact there are a number of 2 families in that area.
Yeah,
A number of them.
Which is not surprising. I mean, there's just obviously more and more 2 families cropping up all over the place.
and this one's sort of down off the lower to Cherry Street, you know, down behind
Sure.
those 2 houses. And it is a big lot, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we'll take public testimony if there's no other questions. Anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor of the application? Please raise your hand. Anyone wishing to speak in favor? If you're on your phone, it's *9. On your computer, raise hand button. Anyone in favor? Seeing none, is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition to the application? Please raise your hand. Anyone in opposition? I see no one raising their hand, so there'll be no need for rebuttal, discussion by the board, or a motion.
Okay.
I'm going to let you make that motion if you don't mind, Catherine.
Sure. I'm just looking at my Google Earth. Yes. On the petition of Norman McFarland seeking a special permit under 2.3.1, section 6, to convert a two-family to a three-family with the construction of a garage with a dwelling above at 6 Spruce Road. So this is a special permit under 1.8.3, and we have to find that it is in keeping with the intent and purpose of the zoning ordinance, and that it is won't adversely affect the neighborhood, and that the benefits outweigh any adverse impact, considering sort of the 6 factors: social, economic, and community needs served. I think that the applicant's attorney has spoken to those, but it is a very big lot. I do think that the fact that there has been some way no opposition to it is a indicator that there's some not any real objection to it. I think it is a big lot. It's a pretty big lot down for that area. I think it does add more housing. There's certainly adequate utilities and parking, and wouldn't really, Spruce Road's a very kind of small little farm that only has a few houses on it. And there are some pretty big houses there. And they, I kind of, with Joe's point, is like, or Michael's point, how many multifamilies are there in the neighborhood? We know that there are a lot around. I don't think it would be that adverse to the neighborhood. I would, so I'd be in favor of voting for the special permit. I would like to condition it that I don't think the neighbors request that you maintain vegetation between their lot line and this garage is unreasonable. So I would move approval of the special permit with the condition that they put vegetation between the garage and the abutter on Cherry Street.
Second.
Go ahead, Tal. I mean, Adria, sure.
And I would, can we limit that? Let's say 30 feet. I mean, we're not going to make them do the whole lot. It's a long,
No,
long
the
lot.
garage, they said, is 36 by 24 feet, and the side along the abutter's property is the just the length of the garage building.
Yeah, it's sort of on an angle, but yeah, we can use that 38 or whatever.
36 feet.
Okay. And we're not going to get into planting or anything, but some sort of vegetative screening.
Yeah, it looks like there already is some, but they may be taking that down in order to put the garage up,
Yeah. Okay, his motion's been made, conditioned, and seconded, I believe.
Yeah, Adria seconded it.
Roll call vote.
Ms. Slickby,
Yes.
Ms. Pratt,
Yes.
Mr. Nyman,
Yes.
Mr. Parisi.
I also vote yes. You've heard our decision is favorable. Appreciate a draft decision if you might. And Bill, Mr. Sanborn, if you could stamp and sign those plans on my behalf.
I will, sir.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you, Mina.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, you too.
Okay, we're moving on to our new hearings. There are 3. First is a petition of Laura Lasepka seeking a special permit under 1.9 to alter or expand a non-conforming structure to allow the addition of a second-floor dormer on the existing garage rear roof at 19 Muscle Point Way. William Frager, I believe, is representing, or the speaker. we might, as we're bringing him in, I see Leonard Gillenhall had his hand up. Could we just see if he wanted to say something? He's a new appointed next meeting member. No, his hand's down. Oh, here we go.
No,
You're good?
Yeah,
No.
hello, can you? Ah, crap.
Is that Bill?
Yeah, if that's me, can you hear me?
We can, yeah. Len, did you
We
need
could hear
wanted
you,
to
yeah.
say something?
yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, because
Yeah.
usually my picture comes up. I wanted to make sure that you folks knew that I was reappointed by the city council this week. I'm looking forward to coming back and sitting next to Michael Nyman. He can
Good
whisper in
evening,
my
Lenny.
ear if he wants.
That's right.
We got to get back in City Hall first.
I guess I'll be there at the next meeting. I'm an associate or alternate. There will be one other gentleman joining us, Rob. My next door neighbor, but his mom passed away this week, so he didn't get his approval all the way
Russell.
through yet.
Yeah.
Rob Russell. So you will have a full contingency of associates as well as your board members.
Thank you. And well,
I
you'll
know
be hearing,
most of you. I know
You'll be
most of you.
hearing-
Sorry.
you'll be hearing from me soon because we're setting up a meeting next Thursday with you and him and the mayor and myself to just give you a little orientation again.
Okay. Okay, I'll take
Thank
my
you.
hand down now.
Yep. Mr. Fraga, go ahead.
Yes,
You're
you-
presenting.
Oop,
Hello?
gotta lower it.
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, it's Bill Fraga, present.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us about your project.
Just want to add a rear dormer to the back side of the garage, which would be adding
Before you go, I need your name and address for the record.
my name is William Fraga. My current address is 15 Pond Street, Essex, Mass. I'm a builder for Laura Wospesca.
Okay, go ahead.
Would like to add a dormer to the back side of the garage that would have one bedroom and two offices, and bring the bathroom from the garage area up to the second floor. We won't be we do not expand the existing lot, the existing garage, but we do in the corner lot. We have 8 feet, and from the first ground floor corner to the lot line. And that's why we're here to seek a special permit to do that. We're not expanding the current size of the building itself.
Bill, you're just stacking on top, you're just cutting through the roof, stacking on top of the building, right?
Yes,
Is the intention, this is just part of the main home,
yes,
so it's not going to be a two-family or
no,
a bed and breakfast, or no?
no,
Okay.
not,
All right, anything else you want to tell us? I know you're asking, it's a straightforward special permit. So the standard would be not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood. So if you have nothing else to say, we'll take public testimony.
yeah, I have nothing, nothing else.
Okay. Anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor of the application? Muscle Point, anyone in favor? Please raise your hand. I see none. Is there anyone in the audience wish to speak in opposition to the application? Anyone in opposition? Seeing none. No need for rebuttal, discussion by the board or motion.
Just a quick comment, it's a tough lot.
It is.
Half that house is, in the setbacks. Not a whole lot you can do there without a special permit, I don't think. Not a lot of addition, so. I can make a
Yeah.
motion.
Yeah, go ahead.
Petition of Laura Wospesca seeking special permit 1.9, alter, expand a non-conforming structure to allow the addition of a second floor dormer on the existing garage rear roof at 19 Muscle Point Way. It is increasing the non-conformity. It's pretty clear. Almost half of that dormer is in the setback, but it's not substantially more detrimental. So I'd move approval of this special permit.
Second,
Motion made and seconded on the special permit application. We'll have a roll call vote.
Ms. Pratt,
Yes.
Mr. Nyman,
Yes.
Ms. Slickby,
yes, I agree. It intensifies the nonconformity, but it is not substantially more detrimental than what's existing.
Mr. Parisi.
I agree, vote in favor. Certainly the fact it's on the backside, not visible from most of the neighbors, made it a lot easier. We've heard our decision is favorable. I asked Mr. Sanborn to stamp and sign those plans on my behalf. And we will be putting together a decision, which I will write for you in short order.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks.
Okay, our next hearing is the petition of YMCA of the North Shore, Inc., seeking modification to the comprehensive permit pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 40B, Section 9, 20 to 23 at 71 Middle Street. Attorney Ellis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Deborah Ellison, Ellison Law Office, 63 Middle Street, Gloucester, representing the YMCA of the North Shore, which is the owner of the property at 71 Middle Street. Chris Lavasco, who is president and CEO of the YMCA of the North Shore, is here tonight on the call. And Jen Hockerman of SV Design, who is the architect for the project, is also on the call. I would ask that Jen be made a panelist because she'll be explaining the modifications to the plan. We're here, and Jen, perhaps raise your hand so they can find you. We're here tonight.
Yeah, she's at the top. Yeah.
Okay, we're here tonight for two reasons. One is the modification of the approved plans and decision pursuant to Section 2J of the comprehensive permit and 760 CMR 56.05 subsection 11. We believe the changes are insubstantial, but a public hearing was noticed in the event you believe that they are substantial. And in that case, a public hearing would be required. Secondly, we're seeking pursuant to Section 2A1 of the comprehensive permit, approval of the final signed and stamped plans as they may be modified this evening. So I'll ask Jen to briefly explain the modifications to the plan.
Hello, everyone. Again, Jen Hockerman, SV Design, 126 Dodge Street, Beverly, Mass. I'm going to share my screen. Can everybody see the elevations?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So there's a couple of different modifications. What I've done is clouded where they are. I will zoom in on the Middle Street elevation. The first change here is at the entry doors. We previously showed you a design that had double doors here with glass panels in it. We have changed it to a single door with a glass side light for ease of maintenance and also for ease of the door hardware. We do have, this is a building for seniors, and we do have the electronic push buttons on them. So it's much easier for the long-term maintenance of the door if it's a single door. So we've made that change here at the front. Also on the Middle Street facade, we have added signage here. When we showed you the design a year ago, we had this signage shown here saying 71 Middle over that entry piece. And I will zoom in so that everybody can see it. The building has been named after Jack Meany. And so what has been added to the design is a YMCA logo and individual pin mounted letters. These letters are 16 inches high. They're stainless steel and they're in the Verdana font. This is the typical YMCA logo. On the Hancock Street elevation, again, same thing with the signage. When we spoke a year ago, we had signage here for the address. We did not have the YMCA logo and the John J. Meany Senior Housing letters. Again, same thing, 16-inch tall individual pin-mounted stainless steel letters, stainless steel YMCA logo. These letters are not backlit, just as these are not backlit. The other thing that I wanted to bring to your attention is actually a clerical error on our part in regards to the maximum roof peak that was noted. When we spoke a year ago, the elevation that we showed was the top of the mansard roof here, and that line has not changed. However, behind the mansard roof, we do have a flat roof that drains water, excuse me, and so that roof does pitch at 1/4 inch per foot up. So while you won't actually see it from the street and the elevation is the same, the actual maximum roof peak as noted in the zoning regulations is actually higher than this point because it is the top of that rigid insulation that is sloping up at the center of the roof. And so that elevation has been added to the drawings. And that is about 13.5 inches higher than what we had shown before. And then lastly, on the courtyard, courtyard elevations, we have the same sort of thing at the double door from the garage. And for the same reason, we have, I will zoom in. We had previously shown a double door leading from the garage level out to the courtyard here. And for the same purposes, we have made it into a single door, still with the glass panels in it and a glass side light. And those
Jen, I'm just
are-
curious. No, this is Michael Nyman. I'm just curious, is that to make it sort of easier and less confusing for people when they're coming in and out? Is that the idea or something different?
It is partially that, and it's also because when you have the card reader and you have the ADA push button on the door, it is easier to get the electronics on the door working consistently and working consistently well if it's a single door versus a double door coming together.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm happy to keep sharing my screen if there are any other questions regarding what I've just shown.
No, I think that's great. Take that down.
Mr. Chairman, may I add to that, please?
Sure.
I've reviewed these plans with the applicant prior to them applying to come here. The only change that I found that may be significant would be the 10 inches to the roof, because what it does is it adds to the height of the building, which is different than the height that was given in the plans. The changing of the doors, the adding of the signs, those are all insignificant changes. While they were here, I suggested that they just did bring the board up to date with those plans.
Thank you.
There is one more change to mention, which is to the decision itself. And that is to section 2B4 of the decision. And we are increasing the number of units that will be restricted to 30% AMI from 9 to 13. And we're decreasing the number of units that will be restricted from 50% AMI from 9 to 5. So the number of units remain the same. We just increase the number of very low affordable units. Also,
Could you say that again, Deb? You're increasing
30%.
It's on,
30% at 9, we're increasing that to 13. And we're decreasing the 50% from 9 to 5. So 4 additional ones for 30% and 4 less for 50%. So we're making it more affordable.
and that's detailed on the decision. I'm trying to find the page. Because didn't it also, didn't it change 3 different categories? I didn't find that in the narrative.
We didn't change those are the only 2 categories that we changed.
But do you know what page that is? Because it's,
I don't know the page. I know the section is 2B4.
That's page 6.
and didn't it show changes to all 3 categories?
We didn't change anything. There are three categories. There's a 60%, a 50%, and a 30%. And we're only changing the 30 and the 50.
Okay,
Right.
let me find that page. I thought the top one went up.
I
Didn't
don't
have a
believe-
cross out and a line. I still don't have that page.
Joe, or excuse me, Mr. Chairman, are you referring to the application summary from the application?
There was something that was showing what I thought a line through the previous,
Yeah, so that is,
wasn't that on all three?
no, it isn't. They're not adjust, according to the summary provided by Attorney Ellison, it is what she's saying now is that only the
Okay.
30% and the 50% are changing.
All
Now I
right.
understand what you're referring to, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, there was something that had the crossed out lines.
Yes, yes. The only other thing I'd like to add is that with regard to the height in the CMRs, the Code of Mass Regulations, they do make a determination that if the change in height is more than 10%, that's substantial. So that's a per se substantial. In this case, the change in height is only 2.8%. So we would
Right.
suggest that it's very insubstantial.
Yeah,
And-
that's what I thought too, that number.
And with regard to the signage, we did have the Historic District Commission look at it informally, even though they don't have a role in this legally, and they did not have any objection. So I think
Great.
what we first need to do is make a determination as to whether these changes are insubstantial or substantial, and then we would go on to approve the final plan as it may be modified.
Agree. Any comments by the board on that? I know personally, I thought it was pretty insubstantial and would be modifications. We'd be able to just say a fine. What does everyone else think?
I think it's
I would-
insubstantial.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Adria.
No, I was just gonna say, I agree with you, Mr. Chairman. I don't find these changes to be substantial.
Yeah, and
And
I
that's
I
where
would
you-
agree. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so it's sort of like the two-part test. I guess we would. Do I take testimony?
I don't believe if it's insubstantial, there would be any testimony taken. I
Right.
think if the board determines any of them to be substantial, then you would take testimony.
I agree, yep. Okay, so we will, if someone wants to make a motion that we find these changes are not substantial and therefore are able to proceed, I'd accept that motion.
Yeah, I'll make that motion. I think, let me see if I can remember them all. The doors in the two different places, the signage on the two facades, and the 13.5 inch increase in the height. Did I miss anything, Deb? Jen, is that it?
The change
That's
to
it.
the percentage to the 30%, the change.
The
in
affordability change.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yes. And then the change from the 9 to 13 in the 30% range, and from the 9 down to 5 in the 50% range for AMI. I think those are all insignificant changes. I would move that we would find them to be insignificant changes.
Second?
We have a motion made and seconded on that ruling. Roll call vote.
Mr. Nyman,
Yes, insignificant changes, yes.
Ms. Lichty,
Yeah, I think an increase of the roof of a little more than a foot on a building this height is gonna not even be noticed by anybody. And frankly, I like going down to have more 30% units. I think Gloucester needs those, so I think they're insignificant. I vote yes.
Ms. Pratt,
Yes, so I was gonna say the same thing that Catherine just said. I am really happy to see that you're increasing the affordable units for the 30% AMI, so thank you. And yes, my vote is yes.
Mr. Parisi,
I also vote yes. Our decision is favorable, that it's insignificant. and Project can move forward. You mentioned about, is there another motion needed on the plan to accept the changes to the
Yes.
plan, or is that automatic?
yes. Well, before we do that, Deb,
Yes.
you'll get me a copy of the amended decision, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
And so the next step would be to approve the final sign and stamp plans as modified this evening and as had been presented to you.
Mr. Chairman,
I
I do have a full copy of the plans that the board will be approving tonight for the project, as it was a condition on the project.
Great. So we will have a motion to,
I'll
Approve the
I'll make a
final-
motion.
go ahead. Ed.
I would make a motion that we approve the modifications and accept the plan as modified.
May I make a suggestion?
Yes,
You're approving the final plans for the project.
okay.
Right, because this, we were waiting for that. Yep.
Okay, so I will amend that motion to approve the final plans of this project and accept the plan as modified.
I would second that.
Motion made and seconded to approve the final plans as modified. Roll call vote.
Ms. Lichty,
Yes.
Ms. Pratt,
Yes,
Mr. Nyman,
Yes.
and Mr. Parisi.
I also vote yes. Thank you all. Glad we could get that through.
Thank you
Just
very
a quick
much.
comment.
Yes, ma'am.
I just think it's awesome. I just think it's awesome that Jack is being honored with his name on that building as well.
Thank you. We do too.
Okay,
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
and our last hearing this evening is the petition of William and Catherine Brown, seeking a special permit under 1.9 to alter and expand a non-conforming structure and a special permit to exceed the maximum allowable building height of variances for rear yard and side yard to allow the removal of an existing and reconstruction of a new accessory structure at 4 Pigeon Lane. Mr. Brown, I believe. We can bring him in.
Mr. Parisi, while he comes in, I dated these plans and stamped them, but I will leave them with Allison because of the nature of the plan. It might be best if you, next time you're over, to sign them, please.
Sure, that's fine, yep.
Thank you.
Can you unmute, Mr. Brown?
Oh, there we go. Is that,
There you
can you
are.
hear me? Yeah,
I
my
can.
name's
Name
William
and
Brown.
address, please.
My name is William Brown. I live at 4 Pigeon Lane here in Gloucester. And currently there is an 8 by 28 foot structure on our property that I'm using as both storage and my workshop. I believe it was a mobile office the city had left on the property in the 70s or something. But I think it was 2018, my wife and I went before the zoning board to try and build a 15 by 30 foot structure to replace that. And we were hoping to build on the property line, but we were told that we could build as close as 3 feet from the property line. So we withdrew without prejudice and are finally just now getting around to reapplying. And our main reason for doing is so we can put solar panels on the roof, because that corner of our yard sees sun from about 10 o'clock on. So we chose a shed style roof to maximize the area so we can fit as many solar panels as possible. So I think that's that's it.
Have you discussed it with your neighbors at all?
Yeah, my direct neighbor up the hill, so to the right of my property, and the abutter on the rear of my property have absolutely no problems. And I can't see it affecting any of my other neighbors in any way whatsoever. the current structure is such an eyesore. I can't wait to get rid of it.
Wasn't it a pigeon coop?
Yeah, when we bought the house, a third of it, you could tell used to be the pigeon coop. And then I think the Balzerinis had the other 2/3 as a workshop.
Yeah, that was my aunt and uncle, Bertha and Gino. Balzerini.
Oh,
See,
really?
Mike loves that I know everybody. I spent a lot of time as a youth in that pigeon coop,
You've been in every house in Gloucester at least once.
just about. They're all relatives. Okay, anything else? Any questions? We'll take some testimony from the public. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of the application? Anyone in favor, please raise your hand. See, everyone's on a device, so you press raise your hand button if you want to speak in favor. Seeing none. Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Any opposition? No one? So we'll close the public testimony portion and we'll talk about a potential motion here. More discussion? I know we approved the abutter that's to his, sort of his back or left. They had added a structure we approved a few years ago up on that next street down.
Oh, yeah.
There's a big uphill there and a lot of vegetation, so I don't think it's really gonna bother anybody.
Yeah, right.
So,
And what are
And
you,
there's
what are
been
you
built-
using the structure for, Mr. Brown? You're just gonna use it for office space and?
Well, I'm a commercial fisherman. I'm constantly working on my gear and stuff, and it's storing it, and then I also do a little bit of carpentry, so I have all my woodworking stuff, and it's pretty cramped in an 8 by 28 foot structure at the moment. So primarily a workshop / storage, and then with the solar panels on the roof, it just would be great. We could get all that done.
okay. Motion,
Yeah, I can make a
Uh,
motion.
Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
Michael,
Petition
before-
for, yeah,
sorry to interrupt you. I just have one
Nope.
question. Apologies. There's not going to be any running water or anything in this structure, right?
No, just power.
Just power. Okay. All right. Thank you.
petition of William and Catherine Brown seeking special permit 1.9, alter, expand a non-conforming structure, and a special permit to exceed maximum allowable building height. Variances for rear yard and side yard to allow removal of existing and reconstruction of a new accessory structure. I think the lack of opposition to what's going on and the neighborhood character, I think, just supports this project. Obviously, the building that's there, it's dilapidated, and this will be a serious improvement. So I would move approval of the special permit and also of the variances, and also the special permit for maximum allowable building height.
Second,
Motion made and seconded on the special permit and variances. Roll call vote.
Ms. Pratt,
yes, I think it's a good project.
Mr. Nyman,
Yes on the two special permits and also on the variances.
Ms. Slichty,
Yes, I mean, I agree, Joe. There was one recently very similar to this, well, a few years back, similar to this, and I think it's a good project. I vote yes on the special permit and yes on the variances.
Mr. Parisi,
I also vote yes on them all for the reasons stated. You've heard our decisions favorable, Mr. Brown. We'll draft a decision and get that over to you as soon as possible. And this time you go ahead and build it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Catherine, you still have one to write from last time?
You know, I hate to say, but I just submitted it today, so.
Oh, okay. There you go. So now you're available.
So my docket is clear.
I'll
All
put
right.
Catherine on that one.
We got it.
Should have
Any
waited
other
one
dis-
more day, Catherine.
Yeah, right.
So our next meeting is the 24th. I know James will still be away, but Peter will be back. And I know Len will be eligible at that point. I don't know whether Mr. Russell will be approved yet by then. I don't know. So we'll hopefully be at least 5, maybe 6. And it's a 6-item agenda. And that's why I pushed the 2 to March, because there were already 6 items on the agenda for next time. Packets are ready in the lobby. Anyone didn't get one yet for that meeting? And other than that, I have no idea when we'll be back in the real world, but just keep plugging away, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Nothing else?
We'll miss you, Adria.
I'm gonna miss you guys. I've learned so much from this board, from all of you. I'm very, very thankful. It was a pleasure.
Yeah,
I'll
Been a
miss you
good-
guys. I wish you all the best of luck with your new board members.
thank you.
Thank-
And, I'll probably tune in to a Zoom or two.
Don't be raising your hand.
Yeah.
If you could, as your last act and deed, if you could make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, yes, I will make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Yes,
Second.
second.
Roll call vote on adjournment.
Yes, Slickty,
Yes.
Mr. Nyman,
Yes.
who'd I skip? Miss Pratt.
Somewhat bittersweet, but yes.
Quickly, you're forgotten.
I know, I'm not even gone yet, Bill.
I have a feeling you're not gonna let me forget. Mr. Parisi.
I also vote yes, we are officially adjourned. Night, everybody. See
Good
you around.
night.
All right, take
Wishing
care.
you the best,
We'll see
Adria.
ya, Adria.
Thank you, thank you. I hope to see you guys around.
All right,
All right. Good evening. all.
bye.
Bye.
Good night.